Hi, team, and welcome to our next screencast on the Vietnam War. We left off talking about the First Indochina War and how the French had lost in a 4-month battle in the Dien Bien Phu against the Vietnamese, and that the Vietnamese now were looking for their independence. The major powers are going to meet at the Geneva Accords in 1954, and they're going to decide that Vietnam should be split at the 17th parallel and that we should have elections in 2 years. They should have the opportunity to live under leadership under Ho Chi Minh in North Vietnam and then under Ngo Dinh Diem, who is going to be the leader of South Vietnam. Diem is going to be selected by the United States, and he is actually going to be a pretty corrupt guy. He is going to be favoring Catholics against Buddhists, which is a very popular religion in Vietnam at the time, and people are going to be very upset with his leadership. So this is going to turn into a big mistake for the United States having had selected him as the leader. So Diem is going to make reforms that are going to make things worse. He's going to create things known as hamlets, where he is going to create walls and barriers around the people living in South Vietnam so that it's controlled where they leave, where they go. It's supposed to be for their own protection, but the South Vietnamese are furious that seems like they're losing their freedoms. JFK was elected in 1960, and Kennedy had a limited war campaign going on as well in Vietnam. He believed that Vietnam should remain separated at the 17th parallel, was afraid that people in South Vietnam were growingly looking for and advocating for becoming one nation again and being with North Vietnam, which would have been a communist decision. So on November 2nd of 1963, the JFK is going to support a coup of South Vietnam, and he's going to have Diem assassinated. And 20 days later, JFK is going to be assassinated himself in November of 1963. What you're seeing here on the left-hand side is what's something known as self-immolation of the Buddhist monks. You're going to see that Buddhist monks are going to do public protests where they would rather light themselves on fire while they are still alive in protest of Diem's rulings and the life that they're living under his power. This is where the United States is really going to start to get involved because the American public is going to see images of this. They're going to see this on the media. And the U.S. cannot believe that we selected a leader that people are going to be so willing to die for in order to get away from him, right? So President Johnson in 1964 is going to talk about Vietnam. He says, since 1954, every American president has offered to support the people of South Vietnam. We've helped to build and we've helped to defend thus so many years. We have made a national pledge to help South Vietnam defend its independence. We are under the belief in the United States that Vietnam does not want to be connected to North Vietnam. That's not the truth. They're begging us to let them be, let them vote, let them just reunite, and the United States refuses. That would be an ineffective use of containment. We would not have been successful. And Johnson would have been accused of being soft on communism. So there's a few other quotes here talking about like strengthening world order and why it's so important for the United States to take the time to pledge their support and to help the people of South Vietnam. But the question is, who are we fighting, right? Who are we up against? We're up against a style of enemy that we have never seen before, and they're known as the Viet Cong. Right? Not to be confused with the Viet Minh. The Viet Minh, again, are in North Vietnam, and they were used by Ho Chi Minh to fight against the French. The Viet Cong are going to be located in South Vietnam, and they are going to be supporters of Ho Chi Minh, who are going to be fighting in South Vietnam against the United States and against American rule and American support. So the enemy is not in traditional military gear. They're not wearing uniforms. They are farmers and peasants that these American military are going to pass on a daily basis, and they're never going to know who they're actually fighting against. It's going to be convenient for them because they're going to be able to go out into the rice paddies and to bury booby traps and mines and things that would harm Americans. And we will never again actually know who we're fighting against in South Vietnam. They were a guerrilla style of fighting too, where they'd come in the middle of the night, they'd attack, and then they'd disperse into the jungles. So it was very challenging to fight against them, and it's going to cause a lot of psychological damage for Americans who are fighting in Vietnam at this time. Okay, so we're going to stop here for tonight. I hope you have a great night.